A medical crisis for Mumia Abu Jamal. I think you all know that he's desperately ill, that we are attempting to get independent doctors from outside the prison to come inside and see him. We now have doctors consulting from the outside, but that is not what we want. We want the doctors to actually be able to see him and examine him and treat him directly. Number two, as you've heard for the last 30 years, we want to free Mumia.
Mumia, what's the number one thing that we were taught in the Black Panther Party, taught to believe? And without a beat, he said to love the people and serve the people, mind, body, and spirit. This is who we were, but more importantly, this is who Mumia is. This has been his life from the time he spent in the Black Panther Party to the work that he did as a journalist, to MOVE, to his community work, to his prison work. Everyone who's come in contact will talk about how he radiates this spirit of revolutionary love. How he embodies this spirit of daily of hope and transformation, which is what our struggle is about. For people to realize their full potential as human beings, to realize their humanity, which in its very essence is love. They've tried to kill Mumia through lethal injection because of worldwide support, because of grassroots organizing. That didn't happen. Now they're trying to kill him with medical neglect.
They were very unhappy when they heard, and very shocked when they heard how sick Mumia was at the beginning of the year.
Notre maire a souhaité tout de suite réagir et intervenir auprès de l'ambassadrice des États-Unis à Paris pour demander que la famille de Mumia et ses soutiens puissent le voir à l'hôpital.
The Mayor DJ Payard, immediately went to the U.S. Embassy in Paris and demanded that Mumia's family be allowed to see him immediately.
Given what we've read from Mumia about how other prisoners are treated, there's a really amazing essay that he did called Manny's Attempted Murder about the way in which this amazing young man was treated by medical neglect within the prison. So Mumia knew that, and so over the years we've been very aware that having Mumia have adequate medical care would be really difficult. They wanted to prescribe more testing, and they were prevented by the Wexford Corporation, which has their little tiny Pennsylvania subgroup is the Correct Care Solutions Company. So the medical healthcare capitalist corporate people that are controlling what access we get, how our family members get inside, is directly responsible for vetting the accurate diagnostic testing we need. You know, just because my gig is playing Mumia, Mumia recorded this on 4/26.
Dear brothers, sisters, comrades, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for the love you have shown me and continue to show me from all around the world. Hundreds, perhaps thousands of people called, wrote, came out, protested, demonstrated. I did not know that many of you were there because I was not conscious for some of that time. I did not see you. I did not hear you, but I felt you in my heart. I felt you in my bones. I feel you now, and I thank you. I am not back to where I was before, but I will be, thanks to you, and thanks to the love you've radiated to me. I love you all, not just this word. I love you all, from the bottom of my heart. On the move, long live John Africa, and we shall prevail. From Imprisoned Nation, this is your brother, Mumia Abu Jamal.
When we talk about that free breakfast program, after the Black Panther Party did that, 22 states in the United States passed free breakfast programs because of the Black Panther Party. 22 states. Our survival programs, giving out food to our people, our medical assistance program, our legal assistance program, and yes, we said that we would protect ourselves by any means necessary, and we were guided by love. Che Guevara always said that the motivation of a revolutionary is love.
Mumia's case is indicative of oppression all over of black people and the oppressed all over the country. His situation is also indicative medically not only for people in prisons in maximum security, but also in minimum security. Because since the ACA, the capitalists have come down with their profit making with a vengeance in terms of cutting back medications that you can give to patients, medications that need approval, medications they no longer pay for. I think the spectacular instance would be there's 4 million Americans running around with hepatitis C. They have a pill now, several one of the best known one is Harvoni. You take a pill for 90 days and 95% of the patients are cured. Unfortunately, in the United States, costs $1,000 a pill. Getting back to Mumia, with the privatization that's just one instance of profit in medicine. With the privatization of many of the prison services, including in New York, patient care has deteriorated. There was, for one instance, why you have a PA doing a biopsy. Why isn't the dermatologist? Why did, when he had this extreme rash, this extreme condition, it took him, they just did it last week. He's been having this rash for a long period of time. That's what I have to say immediately about Mumia. Either it's negligence, just as an outside observer, as a physician, it's either negligence or it's incompetence or it's, it's deliberate. It's one of those three. Either way, you lose. Either way, he's not supposed to be in the prison.
The doctor who had been talking with Mumia over the phone wanted me to tell Mumia to call him right away. And and the reason why he wanted Mumia to call him right away is because he had concern about the medication that they were giving Mumia. And he had a right for that concern. And because the concern was that the medication, even last Saturday, was detrimental to Mumia's health. The medicine had a warning on it, which they should have dealt with. These people had so many warnings, and I'm saying it's obvious, it's not neglect. This is attempted murder. We gotta call it what it is.
Dr. West, I just came from a breakfast at Union Theological Seminary, and I heard Reverend Forbes quote a former teacher of his and said that the logic of racism is genocide. Usually we tend to associate the term genocide with the concentration camps in Europe between 1939 and 1945, or the events that you referred to in Rwanda. But here in the United States, the logic of racism as genocide takes place in the jails where black men, brown men, Native American men are being held day in and day out. At a time when we have more black men in jail than they were held in slavery in the past history of this country. And this medical neglect of Mumia is another form of genocide that is glaring, that we need to stop, and we need to demand free Mumia right now. Even the mafia dons here in New York City go to the court and get released because they need to go to weddings of their children, they have prostate cancer, they have this and they have that. So we have the right to demand that Mumia be released from jail. On behalf of 1199, on behalf of our 400,000 members in the state of Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey, Maryland, D.C., and Florida, I bring greetings, solidarity, and we raise our voices to demand the freedom of Mumia right now. And it's important to note that the hypocrisy of this country, the hypocrisy of the United States, that worries about human rights in other places around the world, where right here in the belly of the beast, our human rights are being violated. And racism as genocide not only takes place in the jails, it takes place when our children get shot by police officers day in and day out and then get away with it. We understand what the neglect of medical care means when you're a diabetic. As healthcare workers, and we have members at Rikers Island, we know how the conditions that those are created in jails by those for-profit medical corporations like Horizon are happening right here in New York. You don't have to go that far. Right at Rikers Island, people have died because of medical neglect, and we cannot allow this to happen to our brother Mumia. So again, I say, libertad para Mumia, ya.
And Brother Jamal bringing us together. We are here because we have a deep love for our dear brother Mumia. And we love the people who he loves. And we love the tradition of struggle that he is a part of. He stands in the same tradition as Harriet Tubman, as Sojourner Truth, as Frederick Douglass, Ida B. Wells Barnett, Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, Martin King, Fannie Lou Hamer. He is one of the towering figures in the greatest tradition of the modern world in the face of catastrophe, generating courage, vision, and a willingness to not just live, but die. And somewhere I read, there is no greater love than for he or she who is willing to die for the people. And that's what we're talking about with Brother Mumia. And there's no accident that his spirit is now more and more manifest in this age of Ferguson and Baltimore. That his willingness to bring together freedom fighters of various sorts, black people, working people, people concerned with ecological catastrophe, people concerned with homophobia, people concerned with the critique of capitalism, all coming together. Anytime you get a vision and a visionary of bringing together peoples who are willing to live and die for that cause, is deeply dangerous. That's why the Black Panther Party was dangerous and attacked. That's why Martin King at the end of his life was dangerous and attacked. And right now, there's a moment in which there's possibility of that coming together. And so it is very, very crucial. The timing is perfect that we focus on our dear brother, one, yes, to save his life, but also to recognize that his spirit is unconquerable, that his witness is unconquerable, and that his love is unstoppable.
The brother is a brilliant revolutionary. There's a reason why he's in prison. He's dangerous. He has been dangerous for 30 years. He's still dangerous. And we got to get him the hell out of that prison because they're trying to kill him. I agree with Jamal. We got to save him. We got to save his life. But we got to get him out of that prison because prison is no place for anybody to be, especially if you're gravely ill. That's a death sentence. So it's like the shit has hit the fan here, sisters and brothers. It's time. We got to get him out. I mean, Obama, you want to do something, on top of all the bad stuff you've done? Pardon Mumia yesterday. A lot of us have been marching for months now, actually hundreds of thousands of people, most recently in Baltimore, marching on behalf of the victims of racist police violence and terror. They call it the Black Lives Matter movement. I think Mumia should be the central figure in that. Talk about Black Lives Matter. What's more precious than Mumia's life? This is a black life that matters a lot. All black lives matter. All lives matter if you want to go there. But I mean, Mumia's a leader. He is a revolutionary leader and an inspiration. He needs us, but we need him more. We really need him more. One of the few, if you want to call it that, one of the few good things, bright things about Mumia's dire health crisis is that it's given us a new opportunity to acquaint a new generation. I'm talking about people under 30 who have come out in this Black Lives Movement, who may not have heard about Mumia or maybe heard a little bit about him. It's given us an opportunity to introduce Mumia or reintroduce Mumia to this new movement. And it's been amazing, sisters and brothers, how they've sort of got it. They've got it. And, you know, with social media, that's how a lot of things are organized. You know, about a month ago, a little more than a month ago, the Black Lives Matter movement had about 30 demonstrations on the same day, you know, demanding medical care for Mumia, you know, and we're going to ratchet that up. Our movement needs this brother. He is so principled. He is so correct. He's so insightful. His voice is the voice of a giant amongst us. We cannot let him die in prison. And you know, the governor of Pennsylvania, the head of the correctional institution, y'all better listen up. The whole world's watching. This is not going on behind closed doors. You got in behind closed doors, but this crisis is playing itself out on the world scene. It's international. So you better let doctors come in, outside doctors come in and see him and treat him and do what they need to do, because if something happens to Mumia in that dungeon, we hold you responsible. It's called execution by medical neglect. So first, let's save his life and let's get him the F out of prison immediately. Free Mumia.
I believe all the moves that we're making and all is some to save his life, but Mumia needs immediate, you know, emergency help right now. Because how many times do they have to put in our face the deliberate attempted murder of Mumia? And I'm saying it's not their fault that Mumia isn't dead. It's a source that is so powerful. That's how come Mumia isn't dead. That source that touch your heart, that make you do the things that you do to bring a powerful vibration. Because a lot of these people haven't seen us for some time in mass numbers. And I'm saying they gotta see us. This government fills us, and you know, that's why Mumia is still alive, and because of the work that each and every last one of us is doing. Now, to me, what I think that we all need to do, and we know that they're desperately trying to kill him every minute, every second. They never stop thinking about how they're going to do it, without us knowing, and which is impossible. We got to bring Mumia up out of there. We got to go back into our churches, into our communities, and raise every voice, you know, raise every fist, and let them know. And Mumia must be released immediately.